Okay, I see no hands on this one, so I'm just going to wait for 5 more seconds, or we're going to have the answer.
Give us a clue. More of a clue.
Yeah, that was a Nigerian connection, but apart from that, yeah, I mean, I think it's famous in the context of.
Multiple choice.
Yeah, well,
ABC or D.
You're going to have to think of 3 names.
well, I can think of
West African names.
2 options right now, but then I have to just think of 2 more just to give you. But it'll be too easy to get. I'll just pass on this one. And so this is Wangari Maathai we're talking about. So she's the founder of the Green Belt movement, and she won the Nobel Prize in 2004. So moving on to the next question. All right, so this is an interesting one. So she was extremely popular in parts of the world such as Moscow, Copenhagen, and Frankfurt. But the US banned her entry, calling it quote unquote a communist good. She finally settled down in London until her passing away in 1972. So who are we talking about? Just to make it clear, if the communist good proves to be a red herring or sorts, so this is a person, an entity, a living entity we're talking about. Not a person, a living entity. And she passed away in 72. We have all seen her in a certain iconic context. That's the clue. I mean, we have seen her representation in an iconic context.
Does she have a connection to the Antarctic?
Sorry,
Did she have a connection to the Antarctic?
she doesn't have a connection to Antarctic, but she
Okay.
has more connection with the cause of environment and
Okay.
as well
Okay.
as so just think of something which is acceptable in other parts, such as Moscow, Frankfurt, Copenhagen, but not acceptable in the US. But yeah, I would say she's an iconic symbol. That's a big clue. That's a 2-word. She's an iconic symbol.
Is she a boat?
Sorry?
Is she a boat?
A boat? No, she's not a boat. So I'm going to wait 5 more seconds on this one. Yeah, I just don't have any more. I mean, anything else further will probably give it away. So,
How about multiple choice on this
so like,
one?
okay, let's make it clear. We're not talking about a human being. We're not talking about a human being here.
Okay.
A panda, the World Wildlife Fund.
Yes, Nigel, this is the World Wildlife. As the panda was known as Chi-Chi. So this is Chi-Chi the giant panda, on whom the original WWF logo was based.
She's stuffed.
Obviously a communist.
Okay, so this is an interesting one.
Why didn't they allow the bear to the US?
Sorry?
Why didn't they allow the panda?
So it was more considered a kind of, there was a more Russian connection of to it. So they said USA basically didn't want to own to the Chi-Chi the panda, and it's the symbolic connection. Okay, so we have lots of hands on this one. I was just going to read out the question for everyone's benefit. So in 2009, the cabinet of Maldives, there's something unique to highlight the perils posed by low-lying countries on account of global warming. You know, what publicity stunt of sorts did the cabinet pull off? So yeah, I see a couple of hands there. Yeah, feel free to say that.
Are we answering?
Yeah, you can go ahead and answer.
They held a cabinet meeting underwater wearing scuba tanks.
They did hold a cabinet meeting underwater. This is a picture of it. There's this guy, the science minister from Maldives, who's holding the special meeting where they signed on a document for some carbon emissions. Okay, so moving on to the next question. All right. So we all know Amundsen was the first human to reach on the South Pole. He left Robert Scott behind and arrived on the continent on December 14th, 1911. Now, Robert Scott went on to found which famous organization, and he's the uncle of which famous entrepreneur who reportedly mentions in his autobiography that his quest for adventure is inspired by his uncle. So I think it's a big clue on the entrepreneur one. So think of a British entrepreneur with a spirit of adventure, a famous autobiography. And yeah, I see your hand there. This is Richard Branson, so you got the second part right. Yes. This is Richard Branson we're talking about. But can you guess the famous organization which Robert Scott founded? Yeah, Nigel. You have a guess on this one?
Polar research.
Okay, this will give a very big clue. We have talked about the organization in some form in this quiz itself.
World Wildlife.
Yes, it is the World Wildlife Fund which Scott founded. Yeah. Yeah. So we move on to the next question. Okay, so this is also a story which we have all heard or read about in some context. So in 2004 and then in August 2009, the Royal Norwegian Navy used an unmanned submarine Hugin 1000 to search for the wreckage of a French Latin plane. Now the searchers focused on a 40 square mile area of the seafloor. They found nothing on that. And then the Norwegian government commissioned this mission for what purpose? Again, this is something which we have discussed in the past few days in a small way.
Core samples.
Sorry?
Core samples. Samples, cores. Core samples were being
I'm looking for, okay, so just to be specific on the purpose, I'm looking for a famous explorer again in this context.
Oh,
So think of the Norwegian connection.
Amazon.
Yeah, this is Amundsen's plane which they were looking for, the Arctic search plane for Amundsen airplane. Yeah. So yeah, moving on to the next question. Okay, the guy you see here is an Argentine citizen. His name is Emilio Marco Palma. He featured on the Guinness Book of Records and he's believed to be the first amongst 10 to hold this unique claim. Now, so what is the claim? You see the picture of him in the background. So think of this guy in the context of Antarctica and for which he got into the Guinness Book of Records. Yeah. Charu, no, this has nothing to do with the climbing.
Is it holding breath underwater?
Sorry?
Arctic diving?
No,
Holding
no.
breath underwater.
No. So also,
He was born here.
yes, that is the right answer. So he believed that amongst the first people to, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, and it's not completely certain as to who among them is in order of first 10. Yeah. So but this is the guy.
I can tell get the answer straight after.
Right. So moving on to the next. Okay, so this here is Metallica performing at the Argentine base Carlini. Now after this performance, they became the first band to achieve a unique feat. So can you just tell me what? Yeah.
Only band who performed in all 7 continents.
Yes, that is right. So they became the first band to perform across 7 continents. And interestingly, this concert, to make it kind of ecologically sustainable, everyone was wearing headphones during the concert. So to make the audience basically listen to the performance in headphones owing to the fragile environment of Antarctica. Okay, so a little science question. So the English word dash is derived from Latin for mushroom, which is in turn derived from Greek for sponge. Yeah, this is fun. So that was a quick answer. So we find over 1,000 varieties of this species surviving in the Antarctic and encountering it. So yeah, fungus is what we were talking about. Okay, so we come down to the last question of this quiz. This is again a sustainability corporate sustainability concept which we all hear about. So total of the carbon dioxide and methane emission of a defined population, system or organization takes into account